A lot of people think contract management is mainly about reading and understanding contracts, but that is only part of the job. The real challenge is making the contract work in practice and making sure it delivers the results and value it was intended to create. That requires legal understanding, of course, but it also requires commercial insight, good communication, stakeholder management, risk management, and increasingly, the ability to use technology efficiently. And finally, it requires you to invest in your professional development and never stop learning. So, here are 5 tips that can help you become a better and more professional contract manager. Tip 1. Make the contract work in practice. Do not treat the contract as a static document that is signed, stored, and only brought out when something goes wrong. If you only focus on the administrative aspects of contracts and act reactively, you will not succeed. Instead, a professional contract manager turns the contract into something the organization can actually use on a day-to-day basis. That means translating the contract into practical activities. Who is responsible for what? What are the key obligations and deadlines? How will performance be measured? How will changes be managed? And when should an issue be escalated? Depending on the size and complexity of the contract, you might use governance structures, checklists, a risk log, a communication plan, or even a contract management plan. These tools are all available on our website, clearn.io. The important point is to create clarity, align expectations, and to communicate and coordinate the activities needed. This means you also need to clarify your role inside and outside the organization so that stakeholders know what is your job and their job. The important message is that a contract may be legally precise and still fail operationally if people responsible for delivering do not understand what they have to do and what they don't have to do. So know the contract, but more importantly, make the contract usable. Tip number 2, understand the business and the commercial logic. The second tip is that contracts are not first and foremost legal documents. On the contrary, they are first and foremost business tools. As a contract manager, you therefore need to understand why the contract exists in the first place. What is the organization trying to achieve? What are the business goals? What is the value the contract tries to create? What are the most important risks? What drives the supplier's behavior? And how do the pricing models and commercial incentives affect the relationships? You also need to understand what success looks like. Sometimes enforcing a contractual right is exactly the right thing to do. In other situations, finding a practical solution together may create more value for both parties. The best contract managers are therefore able to balance legal, commercial, operational, and relationship considerations. So, understand the contract, but always understand the business and relationships behind it. Tip number 3, master stakeholder management and build strong relationships. Contract management is very much about people. Most contracts involve many different stakeholders: procurement, legal, finance, project management, operations, senior management, and of course the other contracting party. And they may all have different priorities. This is why unclear ownership, poor communication, and delayed decisions can quickly become contract problems. A good contract manager creates alignment. Make sure roles and responsibilities are clear. Know who needs to be involved in which decisions. Communicate regularly, follow up, and document important decisions. At the same time, invest in the relationship between the parties. A good relationship does not mean ignoring the contract. On the contrary, the strongest relationships often combine trust and collaboration with clear expectations and professional governance. Think of the contract manager as a bridge between the contract, the business, and the people who must make it work. Tip number 4, be proactive, not reactive. One of the biggest differences between weak and strong contract management is timing. Weak contract management reacts when the problem has already occurred. Professional contract management looks ahead, monitor risks, obligations, performance changes, and unresolved issues continuously. Pay attention to early warning signs, repeated delays, missing decisions, unclear responsibilities, poor documentation, declining performance, or a relationship that is becoming increasingly difficult. Disputes rarely appear out of nowhere. The warning signs are often visible much earlier. And remember that proactive contract management is not only about monitoring the other party. Your own organization also has obligations and responsibilities that must be managed too. The goal is simple. Identify problems while they are still manageable, not when they have already become disputes. Tip 5. Invest in your own and your organization's professional development and never stop learning. Contract management is a profession that requires a broad and constantly developing set of competences. You need to understand contracts, of course, but you also need commercial insight, stakeholder management skills, risk management, negotiation and communication skills, and an understanding of how contracts work in real organizations. And the profession continues to evolve. New technologies, including AI, are changing how we analyze contracts, monitor obligations, and manage risks. Business models are changing. Regulations develop, and organizations increasingly expect contract managers to contribute not only administratively, but strategically. That is why continuous professional development is so important, not only for you, but for the entire organization. A good starting point is to understand the professional standards for contract management. The Contract Management Standard, the CMS, provides a common framework for the competences, processes, and practices involved in professional contract management. Standards like this can help you understand what good practice looks like and identify where you need to strengthen your own competences. Courses and professional certifications can take this a step further. A certification or diploma provides a structured learning journey and allows you to develop and validate your knowledge and skills against recognized professional requirements. But professional development should not stop when you receive a certificate. The best contract managers keep learning throughout their careers, and learning can take many different forms. It can be video-based e-learning courses, classroom training where you can discuss complex issues and learn from others, blended learning, combining digital learning with workshops and practical exercises, professional certifications, conferences and webinars, and participation in professional networks, or simply learning systematically from the contracts and situations you manage every day. The important thing is to make learning continuous and relevant to your role and your team. AI and contract management systems can make you more efficient and provide new insights. But technology does not replace professional competences. In fact, as technology takes over more routines and administrative tasks, the human skills of contract managers may become even more important. So, the 5 pieces of advice are: make the contract work in practice, understand the business and the commercial logic, master stakeholder management, and build strong relationships. Be proactive, not just reactive. And finally, invest in your professional development and never stop learning. Are you interested in building your own or your organization's skills? Follow CLearn for practical, user-friendly contract management learning you can apply in your everyday work.